podcast. That's Ralph Pizarro of Calcio Napoli Club. Just rant about Napoli.
Let's go for it.
We're gonna rant. We're gonna match report. We're gonna talk about the games. We're gonna talk about topics. You leave comments, and we'll read your comments out. Question.
All right, quick stats.
Yes, throw the stats up there. On to a nice little segment that we're gonna call the Beast of the Match.
Who is beast in it for the Napoli team? Let's see.
Follow us on Facebook, Rafael Rispo, Ralph Pizarro, Twitter at RafaNapoli83. That's me.
CNC USA 26.
I want some feedback to the show. What do you guys want to see? What do you want to see more or less of? This is going to be a show for you guys too. I want a lot of comments.
We want to rant about something. Let us know if you want us to rant about something.
I promise you, we're not going to agree on everything all the time.
We won't.
We're going to yell at each other every now and then.
Come and rant. This is what it's for. We want to give you a space to let loose so you can do it here.
Well, that's going to do it, Ralph. Were we boring enough for you?
I don't know. I think we were great.
Let's get to it.
Madonna Carmen, aiutici tu.
And benvenuti, fellas and bellas all over the world. Welcome to another episode of the Ralph and Ralph Rant. My name is Ralph Biz, joined by my co-host, the Vicar of Vesuvius, Rafa Rispo.
What's up, Ralph Biz? Man, hey, round two, right? We had some
two today.
Pulling double duty today, aren't we?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We were. We had Patrick Kendrick, the man, in the house earlier today. Right. Came by for a few, right? And also, I mean, like right before he went to go call the Lazio game, the Lazio Venezia game, he was here with us talking a little bit Hellas Verona, Napoli. Super cool guy, super fun. Definitely check it out on our YouTube channel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It seemed like he was from his house, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he's doing solo games from his house, and then when he hooks up with his broadcast colleagues, he goes into a studio. But whatever. It was literally right before the Lazio game. So we're very thankful for Patrick for joining us today. But we have a couple other guests, don't we, today, Ralph?
Oh, we do. We have two very special guests joining today. You know them, you love them from the Renaissance Chat. All boys, they are both in Canada right now. We got two of our good friends together right now. Let's just bring them out, no delay. Here they are, Vincenzo Bettillo and Francesco. How are you?
Oh, here we are.
They're together. They're together. That's what I'm so happy to see. You got Napoli Club Toronto and Tri-State Napoli Club together for the first time. Fran Valenti has visited Toronto, Canada, and thanks, guys, for joining us. First and foremost, Fran, we talked off the air. We know you're having a marvelous time, but why don't you tell all the viewers and listeners how you're doing out there up in the frozen tundra?
Yes. So like I said, first night is when I really met everybody, and it was just a great night. Joe Fischetti, Luca Lombardi, Carmino was there. Obviously,
yes. Epic picture.
Yes.
Yeah. Steph Chalfie. Tonight I met Sereno with Vincenzo. We had dinner and dessert. Everybody is like just top class. The hospitality is unbelievable. Everyone is beyond friendly here. Like make me feel welcome, as everyone's made me feel at home. Everyone's great. Like I can't say enough nice things. And I remember at the meet, like when Ando said, "Nice to meet you," but I mean, bro, I've been talking to you every day for God knows how long. Like it feels like we've known each other for so long. That's how I feel with these guys up here. Like instant connection, instant like feeling like that I've honestly never experienced before. Because I mean, besides maybe like an online chick, I really have no personal connections through social media. So I mean, this is definitely cool and a unique experience, and I'm so happy I came. Great time so far.
Awesome, guys. Man, I really wish I was there with you, man. Honestly, man, we got to make it all happen.
Hey, you guys are all both welcome, and everyone. We're all one big Napoli family. So anytime you just let us know, and we'll show you the town.
Oh man, certainly gonna happen. I get top bunk, but yeah, certainly gonna happen. Any cool restaurants you visited? I know we spoke about that. We love food here on the Rant. So
first night,
tell me one. Yeah, tell me one.
First night we did the famous Pizzeria Oro di Napoli, because that was the big Napoli get together. So I mean, it had to be done. Where else you gonna go?
course.
Today we were in Chinatown. We hit up a famous dim sum place, and then we actually ate some ramen with Mr. Sereno this evening. So yeah, we've been feasting around. We got some gelato.
Yeah.
We got
we're going around the world with our foods.
Yeah,
that's nice. Like a little Canadian international.
It's a multicultural city, So
love it.
We had to do our Napoli thing first, but now we're being a bit more adventurous,
Awesome. Well,
let me ask you this really quick. Where'd you guys watch the match from yesterday?
We watched it at my place, it was 10 a.m., but really 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was great. We were very hungover. I'd slept maybe an hour and a half.
I did not get a lot of sleep either.
No.
We knew
That's when you're having a good time, right?
Yeah. I was in my bed just wired.
Yeah, we knew we couldn't miss our only chance to watch a game together, especially such an important game. So, yeah.
What's going on, Z? Awesome. Well, that sounds like a good time, man. We certainly got to do it one day together. But guys, big game this weekend. Lots of controversy, lots of happiness, lots of anger, lots of different emotions kind of flowing around this one. But Napoli do get the win. It was Napoli Verona. We played in Verona, and we were able to crank out a 2-1 win with 2 goals coming from Victor Osimhen. Where do we start? There's lots of things. Let's start in the game, right? Let's start in the performance. Rafa?
Yeah, I think maybe a fitting place to start is the change in tactics and formation. When we get to we'll get to all the goals and the happenings in the match soon, but I'm really excited to have seen the 4-3-3. I don't think it was much of a secret of who was going to get the nod. Zielinski had a much needed rest. Insigne needs to sit and figure whatever Insigne needs to figure out. And everybody pretty much knew who was starting the match. It was just the formation was a little bit surprising when I actually got to see the 4-3-3. I really liked Anguissa and Lobotka in there with Fabian. I think it's very telling that this formation works with this club. The 4-3-3 of this. We bring up the Sadi days as much as I don't want to. You have to. I think with certain members of this club, 4-3-3 works pretty well. And if you ask me, we've seen it unfold in front of us on the pitch. There was a lot of good play on the wing. We found Osimhen very well. And I think that should be the formation going forward. But if you saw the video with Patrick Hendrick, if you haven't, go check it out. But he outlines how this could be a situation where Spalletti changes formations based on what team we're playing. And this, for me, was the right formation against Verona, obviously, because we took the 2-1 W.
Vinny, what say you about this formation?
Yeah, I think that a change was needed. As much as I love, the usual formation, and Insigne and Zielinski is one of my favorite players, but it was quite telling that they were either out of form or a little tired. And Anguissa, for me, has been sorely missed, especially in the games against physical opponents such as Inter and stuff. I just think that Hellas Verona is a very physical opponent, and having someone like Anguissa in the middle of the park just gives you that added security. He's able to hold on to the ball, carry it, and you mentioned the Sarri football, and if you think about it, Hamsik, Jorginho, Alan is similar in a way characteristically. Fabian is in a way Hamsik-esque in the sense that he gets up and scores. Lobotka is in a way Jorginho-esque in that he's a metronomic player. And Anguissa is different to Alan, but they have some of the same characteristics. And I actually felt that was like almost the evolution of that kind of midfield.
Certainly. It was definitely good to have Anguissa back now. We really needed him, and Spalletti's able to kind of plug him into this new system, and he was definitely one of the top players for me this game. His physical presence, we definitely missed it. His ability to dispossess people, his toughness, and even his runs forward. He's shown a little bit of that throughout the whole season, but I was really impressed how he's able to kind of get down the field. He's not the fastest per se, but he gets there. He gets from A to B pretty quick, you know. Fran, what were you thinking? I know, as far as formation goes, were you impressed with it? You think it's something they should stick with?
Yeah, I did like the formation change for sure. I thought that two things happened as a result of playing Lobotka with Anguissa. I thought the wingers were more involved in an attacking sense. Politano got the assist, which obviously shows he was a little more involved, although I didn't think he had an amazing game. And also what it allowed was for Di Lorenzo to be more of an attacking threat. We haven't seen that out of him in a long time. But Di Lorenzo definitely more so than, Rui would, get deeper into the box, like at the edge of the area, get inside and cut onto his left foot like we saw a couple times previously, and, hit some balls across the six, like on the ground or cutbacks. So I thought with the stability that Lobotka and Anguissa gave the team overall, it allowed for the wingers to get higher, take more chances, and for Di Lorenzo to get up higher and take chances as well. So it was nice to see he was an additional threat in that game.
I'm going to read a comment out from Gaetano here because he has said it often, and we certainly agree with him on the show. Gaetano Salazzo says, Mr. Presidente Principale, I told you this team is built for the wingers to be aggressive. Had to change. And I agree. And we even saw like that link up again between like Di Lorenzo and Politano. That was so effective in the beginning of the season. I mean, it generated so much offense, so many chances. And we saw a little bit. It was like old times again with Politano and Di Lorenzo. So that was one thing I'm super happy to see on the wings. Now, Lozano, I don't want to knock the guy. I mean, he's coming off this another injury. This is his first game starting in maybe 2 months, month. I don't know. Who knows anymore? But it's been a little while. I wouldn't say he was quite the most effective, but maybe
it wasn't an incredible performance by him, but I thought he did add something. I think he freed up a lot of space for Victor. He added that extra counter threat. And it's just, for me, it was more his final touch that let him down. But other than that, I actually thought he had a decent game. Nothing crazy, not a 7 out of 10, but I thought he added a little bit of something different. And I think whenever he's there with Victor, it's like, it's hard to mark both of those guys. And it's not a coincidence, I don't think, that Victor scored 2 goals, with Lozano starting, even though Lozano himself didn't have, an incredible game.
I Rafa, do you want to add? Because I have a criticism when I was watching Lozano play. I do have a little criticism that reminded me of something that may have happened last year. I want to touch on it real quick, and then maybe we can move on to another player. But remember last season when Gattuso was like, Chucky's rolling around on the floor like a child. Remember that? Like he needs to toughen up and stop. I kind of saw that a little bit yesterday. I kind of saw him he was just getting knocked over left and right. I don't know if he was trying to draw fouls. I don't know if maybe he's just hurt. But I remember Gattuso giving the guy grinta, and that's when he went on this kind of run with scoring. And it was right after he said, you got to stop rolling on the floor like a little baby. Did you see any of that at all? Or am I just going crazy? A little bit of, I don't know, weakness. Anybody?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. I mean,
I saw a lot of it.
I don't think he had the best game he's had, but I think he had a better game than as of late, if that makes any sense. Let's not forget he's fresh off an injury. His first few minutes back were, in the Milan match. And this is his first start in God knows how long. 2 concussions this season, and the muscular injury after that. I don't want to make too many excuses, but I think it's worth mentioning that this guy, along with the fact that Spalletti until yesterday really couldn't find good use for all the wingers, not just Lozano, not just Politano, but Insigne, and when Elmas plays on the wing too. Like you've noticed that Elmas's best performances come more centrally this season, and I think that has a lot to do with it because, again, Politano hasn't had the best season as well. Insigne is on a down slope, some may say, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Lozano's just not having the best of times right now. I don't subscribe to the fact that he doesn't fit into the squad or he should be sold or he's still getting used to Serie A from the Eredivisie. I think he's a fine player. I think he'll be fine. But that being said, I mean, yesterday, not for nothing, he had some impressive numbers. I mean, 14 out of 15 passes made, 2 key passes, 4 recovered balls, 5 one-on-one wins. So, I mean, it's not terrible.
No.
It's not great, but it's not terrible either. He wasn't very good going forward. But you didn't really hear his name until really late in the match. But I think he quietly contributed yesterday. Not enough to be noteworthy, but maybe he's got to get back into his groove too.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Rafa, for tonight, but
moving forward, he's got to produce. Oh, yeah.
Like, stay off the floor. I feel like sometimes he needs a little bit of this micromanagement to get him going. I'd like him to take the Bulls by the horn, stay up, because he's fast. I forgot which play it was that, I mean, the guy went from midfield to the box. It'd be him and Victor, like, instantaneously. It was beautiful. I just want to see that. I want to see a little more balance, a little bit more toughness. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He has to get back in form, but I need him with that grinta that he showed last year when Gattuso was screaming Chucky, Chucky, Chucky all day on the sideline. But moving on. We spoke about Politano. We spoke about – should we do a beast of the match early today? I feel like – do you want to get straight into that or –
Why not?
Listen, why don't we mention the goals first? Then we'll get to beast.
Okay, let's go to the goals, right?
Yeah. So the first goal in the 19th minute, right? The 13th minute. Pretty much like the product of a lapse in concentration from Verona because we threw the ball in. We get the ball to Politano, who gets a nice, beautiful cross to Lozano. And what do you know? Osimhen, not Lozano. Osimhen. And what do you know? Osimhen in the middle of the freaking box connects on a corner and blasts it past a keeper for 1-0. Beautiful cross by Politano. Beautiful header by the more this guy wears this mask, he can head the ball into the back of the net.
That's what I've been saying.
He's got a broken face and he's heading balls in left and right.
Right. Like if I was his mother, I'd be worried sick right now. Like, Victor, don't do that.
It's almost like he only wants to score headers after the injury just to prove a point. I love it.
Right. Right. I mean, I'm definitely like Air Victor is such a fitting nickname for him, man. Sure. Like this guy, I mean, I've seen it before, but lately it's all he's been doing is heading the ball, it seems like. Fran, how did Osimhen come across you today? I mean, for that game, what impression did he give you?
The same impression he's been giving for a while, except he got some service this game, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it came down to. We did more in the first half, first 20 minutes even, than we did in the whole match against Milan in terms of attacking threat. And when you give Osimhen chances to score, he's going to put a couple in or at least one in. He's definitely raw a little bit finishing-wise. I think he's young and has a lot of room to clean his game and improve.
Right.
But, I mean, he's hungry, he's tenacious, he's fearless, and he puts in the work, and he has been the last few games, but the service has been lacking. The attacking threat, chances created, it's gone a little stale. The creativity's gone down a bit, I'd say, too. But this match, we gave him the service that he needed from, outside play, whether it was a winger in Politano for the first one or Di Lorenzo for the second on the tap-in. But, that's what happens when you attack more, you're more aggressive, and you serve him. Your chances of putting the ball in the back of the net are going to go up tenfold.
100%. Vinny?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the night before the game, we went out with my buddy who's a Juventino, and I called it, Victor Doppietta. I just had a feeling that he was going to cook against Verona. And when it actually happened, we were like flabbergasted. But, I just think that Fran was making this point. I mean, how many points has Victor won for us? Like it's crazy how many points he's won for us. He's been very decisive. There's a lot of strikers, and we all know their numbers are great, but how many have like they're scoring the third goal or they're scoring 3-4 goals in one game? But Victor, I mean, his goals per points winning ratio is insane. He steps up in the big moments and he wins us games, and he saves Napoli so many times. He gets the decisive goals, and we won with 2 of his goals in this game, which was incredible.
I think that he's won us like 16 points as of right now, because I believe going into the match it was 13, and obviously Milan, he didn't do anything. Right. We didn't get a point out of it, so I'm pretty sure he's at 16. Right
yeah,
now.
I think our
in all competitions.
No, in Serie A.
No, he's won even more in Europa.
In
like
Europa,
the Leicester game,
too.
he saved us with the late double.
In Leicester, yeah.
I mean,
well, so 1 point, yes, but there's a stat that I think Patrick Kendrick put out there that Victor Osimhen has. Napoli have won every match that Victor Osimhen has scored in Serie A. There were matches Victor scored in the Europa League where we did not win the match,
right.
but every match Victor Osimhen gets a goal in Serie A, we win. So. That's something to be said there, man. And the second goal comes from Ceccherini, who's on a red, who should have gotten another yellow. I'm sorry, who's on a yellow, who should have gotten another yellow by kicking the ball into the stands. But the referee lets play continue because a quick throw in again. And this time, Di Lorenzo on the side. Perfect placement on the ground to Osimhen. Now Osimhen gets the ball at his feet and puts it in one time, and that's a 2-0. Another great goal. This one is where Osimhen grabs the camera and takes a picture of the Curva Sud, probably to send them a little message too, like I got you. Unless he was taking a picture of the Napoli fans that
I think it was the Curva, yeah.
It
was the Napoli fans.
It was
Napoli fans. Okay.
Yeah, it was always ultra section.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, he was on. Listen, he's been under a lot of criticism lately, and especially from Igor Tudor. We won't mention the 50'N goal. One nice goal header. Nothing you could do. So 2-1 was the final. Tudor and his comments towards Osimhen versus Vlahovic. Now, we mentioned this to Patrick too. A Balkan like Vlahovic, so favoritism there for sure. Ex-Juventino, now Verona manager. He's gonna praise his his kind. It's his fellow region mate with his club of his heart, I guess you could say. 9 times out of 10, Vlahovic is preferred over Osimhen, but Osimhen took a lot of offense to that comment, if you ask me, and more than made up for all that stuff. So what do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about Osimhen taking the criticism from Tudor and kind of stuffing it down his throat this time?
Who you want to hear from first?
Either one of you. Vin.
Okay. First of all, I'll just say I read a beautiful saying someone put on Twitter, and I think it was there's a Napolitan saying, and in English it's it warns you not to spit in the air, otherwise it will come back and hit you in the face. And
right. You don't spit into the wind, basically.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like real athletes with a strong mentality. They're like Michael Jordan in the documentary. Like they use that stuff. So you're just feeding the beast by saying that. And like, go ahead if you want to criticize Victor before every game. I hope every opposition coach does the same thing, because I have a feeling that that fired him up even more. And keep doing it.
Yes.
It works for me.
100% with Vin there. I mean, I think this guy loves to prove people wrong. He's had to do it most of his career. If you really look at his biography, if you look at his history, he constantly had to prove himself. Almost said it himself. I mean, it came out of his own mouth, and he said how much he's had to done, whether it be injury, sickness, just overall talent. He's had to do a lot. And remember last year, you haven't seen nothing yet when he came back from the injury, and he was right. We didn't see anything yet, because he went on a tear, and I think he scored 10 goals or something in the last we
could use that this time.
Games.
We could use this time.
Go ahead. Talk all the shit you want. We don't mind. We eat that all day, and we use it to our advantage. And Victor is certainly one of those guys. He's been an absolute beast lately. I mean, Napoli have been struggling maybe to offensively to put some things together, but that guy is running the whole game. Him and Mario Rui. I'm taking Mario Ruiz back this week because like people have been saying some pretty nasty comments about the guy. And yes, okay, we need a left back, but the guy's he's been doing his job decently. All right. And our defense is not if anything, our defense is the reason why we're still in this damn fight. We're in this race. So let's just back up from Rui a little bit and focus on some other things. And one of those things is Osimhen getting back to his scoring ways and these wingers, gelling again, connecting again, and connecting the dots so we can get goals. I want to talk a little bit about Fabian maybe before we get to the beast.
Well, let Fran just give
Fran. Yeah, I'm sorry, Fran. Get in there. I forgot the question. I'm sorry.
About Osimhen. About
Tudor's comments towards
Tudor and all that. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, I mean, are we getting into the whole Vlahovic Osimhen debate or no?
Whatever. Do it because like here's my thing, Fran. I'm not doubting Vlahovic's abilities, talents. He's a great player. He's probably one of the best in the league, if not the best. But to say he's better than Osimhen, I think is a little premature. I think is not fair. What do you say?
I say that if I had to pick between one or the other, at the moment, I'd probably pick Vlahovic. I remember the poll going out there by Martino Puccio, like the Milan guy on Twitter. I think Osimhen has a higher ceiling than Vlahovic, and I think he's a better athlete than Vlahovic for sure. But I just think because of the injuries and him being in and out while Vlahovic has consistently been healthy and scoring, that's the only reason why right now I would just say I'd pick Vlahovic. But that doesn't mean that I think he's better. I think that if Osimhen were to stay healthy for a long period of time, he'd put up better numbers than Vlahovic because he doesn't take pens also, Osimhen, yet at least. He's definitely better in the air than Vlahovic. He moves differently than pretty much any player that I've ever seen. He moves like extremely uniquely. So he moves different than Vlahovic too. And they're both strong players, even though that Vlahovic has a little bit of a, more muscle to him and Osimhen's more lanky. He's still like strong as hell. So
tough as nails.
With all the pace he has, like, and the attributes of getting up like high and stuff, he still has a lot of strength, man.
So you mentioned earlier that Osimhen's final touch, like his shot needs to be refined a little bit. His eye for goal. Do you think Vlahovic is there now, and that's what kind of separates them at this moment?
I think Vlahovic at the moment is definitely a better finisher. I think he's more ruthless than Osimhen, 100%. That's my opinion. But
I think we still have yet to see it at Juve, though, Fran. Like I mean, I know he came out and scored, in the first game. He facilitated the own goal in the Coppa Italia. He scored in the first minute of the Champions League. I get that, but I don't think his goal to match ratio is anywhere near his time at Fiorentina just yet. And I know it's only been maybe just a little more than a handful of games that he's been at Juve, but I'm expecting Vlahovic to come in and score hat tricks all day and every game and Juve to be in first by now. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure his impact has been fully seen at Juve yet. And I really think it says something about Osimhen's injuries and his unavailability. And, he just reached that 38 game mark for Napoli, which is a whole season, it equates a whole season over 2 seasons. So, when you get that 1 foot, like I would like to judge it when you get the full strength Osimhen versus the full strength Vlahovic in the same season.
For sure.
And also the other thing is like Vlahovic is a finisher for sure, but Osimhen creates his own chances.
That's right.
Vlahovic can't do that. Also, I think Osimhen has earned 5 penalties for us this season.
Yeah.
Okay. So you also have to. It's either 4 or 5 for sure. 4 and maybe 5. So that's basically 4 or 5 extra goals you can add because pretty much. You can count those as goals or assists, whatever you want. I mean, if he was the penalty taker, he would have probably put all those in. If not, he's given them to Insigne. Either way, that I don't think Vlahovic earns nearly as many penalties and fouls as Victor. So, and also the other thing about Victor, where it's like, it's hard to punish a guy for getting headbutted in the face, and also. The last thing I'll say is just, Victor was basically living on the street till he was like 17. Vlahovic grew up in Europe. He was in European academies. I agree. He's probably tactically ahead of Victor, meaning I think he knows the movement of a striker and where to be to finish chances. That's the one area where I would say he's a little bit better than Victor, but that can be learned. What Victor does cannot be learned.
Right. That's all natural.
Some of it's like his genetics. He's blessed.
Gotcha. Just to piggyback off that, I want to read a comment from Fiat of Vesuvio over here. Let's remember, you can defend Vlahovic and shut him down. In order to stop Osimhen, defenders mug and batter him.
Yeah, it's true.
And where's the protection? I don't see Osimhen ever getting any protection from these referees. It's ridiculous.
Sure.
Yesterday was really bad. He was getting pulled. Did you see that? Oh, you remember that? Who was it? The one that kind of went up. He started holding his shoulder. Who was it that went up? What's his name? Shit, started with an F.
Faraoni.
The goal scorer, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think it was Faraoni.
I watched it a few times. And I'm thinking, like, what happened to Victor? And if you see, it was the first angle they showed on the replay. The second angle you couldn't see because it was directly behind Verona over there. But on the side, he puts his knee right under Osimhen's shoulder and then pulls back on it. I'm like, he was ready to dislocate this guy's shoulder. I was looking, I'm like, dude, this shit is so dirty what they're doing to these players, man. They can't hold them. And
it's crazy.
It's just sad to me. Just play the game, man. Let the guy live. You could tell when Ceccherini, knocked that ball into the stands with frustration. That to me was pretty much Verona's mood. And I asked Patrick Kendrick, earlier, was like, did it seem like maybe Verona was the emotional one and Napoli were the calm ones? Because I felt like it should have been the opposite, but it wasn't. Verona seemed the one to be a little aggravated at times. And I think what Ceccherini did, that little act, to me was the definition of the mentality of Verona in that game. Just angry. Just fucking angry people, man. I mean, it starts off with fucking coordinates bombing our city. We'll get into that. All right. You're doing racist chants in the stands again, but hey, that's never going to stop because welcome to Italy. That's how it goes. And then you do this. I'm so glad that it was Di Lorenzo who noticed what was going on. I believe that was the throw from Elmas. I think that second goal, or was it?
No, it was from Di Lorenzo.
The second.
Oh, the throw-in. The throw-in was from Elmas, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yes. So I'm so glad Di Lorenzo was able to kind of pick up Ceccherini. Just
I almost feel like that was like a planned, like rehearsed move or something like that's him, because it was almost like a play from the throw-in, almost like it had been rehearsed. It was crazy how fast, how fast Di Lorenzo got. It almost reminded me of that famous Liverpool goal where Alexander-Arnold took the quick corner.
Yeah.
Different goal, but just that quick thinking, just that quick thinking earned the goal. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. He was able to recognize that space. He ran right to it. He off to the races. And it was like a cheeky little, ground pass to Victor, backed up.
Little sweaty goal.
It wasn't the easiest finish either. It wasn't like really a tap in. Victor had to open up his body and sit
right
in first time.
On the far side, exactly. Yeah. He is, great goal. Great goal. Lots of fun. We won.
Yeah.
So on that note, should we get to Beast? I know you said you had something you wanted to talk about with Fabian before we get to Beast, but we can do whatever you want.
You know what? It'll all kind of tie together. So
okay.
Beast of the match, guys. Everybody in the chat, let me know. I think a couple people.
I saw one person say his wish. Yeah, I saw one. Yeah.
All right. What do you guys think? Put it in the chat, man. Let us know. Here he is to save the day. Giovanni Di Lorenzo, ladies and gentlemen.
Big time.
For the match.
Big time props. Big time props.
Lots of great players. We can talk about them, but man, this, and again, Patrick Ken just said it himself on the broadcast, as well as the last the little segment that we did this afternoon. Guy's motor was running all game long. He did not miss a beat. He did not lose a step. This guy was running all over the field, and he contributed to both goals. I have nothing else to say.
What's unbelievable is that, you know, and again, Patrick brought this up on the little clip we did earlier. The guy was concussed and 3 days later back on the pitch, you know. To say that this guy isn't, I mean, you know, look at both of our defensive wings, you know, just unbelievable stamina and hustle and work. The work rate is phenomenal. You know, there's an odd mess up here and there, sure, but you know, there's no doubt in my mind that Di Lorenzo is the best right back in Italy right now. And you've seen it, you saw it at the Euros, and you've seen it here now unfold this season. You know, and pretty much his entire tenure at Napoli is a huge coup from our, you know, our scouting development, and I can't say enough good things about Di Lorenzo, honestly. And in this match in particular, with the assist, you know, with the throw in the beginning for the first goal, the throw in, just the overall awareness on the pitch and just the things he does off the ball too, just phenomenal stuff. Hands down, beast of the match for me.
Boys, what do you think there, Vinny and the front?
Yeah, Di Lorenzo is would be my number one or two, but probably more one. My other shot would have been probably Anguissa, but okay, yeah, Di Lorenzo was great. I was thinking like Anguissa as his challenger, just because, to be honest with you, haven't seen Anguissa move the way that he moved with the ball at his feet. Probably since the Inter game, which is the game that he picked up the injury, the flag away at San Siro. Because before that, he was in that run of form where, I mean, for a guy of his stature, like his mass, his height, he moves, man. He moves quick. His agility is unbelievable. So it's almost like when you have that speed and agility and have the strength and physicality as well, it's like a cheat code for a player in that position. It's crazy. But yeah, I saw him moving, you know, between 2-3 defenders, you know, effortlessly, smoothly, very technically. And again, it was impressive for a guy his size to be doing that. It was great. But yeah, Di Lorenzo was fantastic. He, like I said before, with you know, playing Lobotka and Anguissa, I think it gave Di Lorenzo that little bit more room to be an attacking threat, that little bit more room to get into the box, carry it a little deeper than he has been last few games. And then, I mean, the composure that he had to cut it onto his left foot a couple times rather than strike it with his right and, you know, maybe getting stuffed was just, I mean, it was beautiful to watch, to be honest with you.
Vinny?
Yeah, for me, Dilo is beast of the match, and probably Victor would be man of the match. You know what I mean? But for beast, I'll give it to Dilo. I think he deserves it. But I do think Anguissa is a good shout as well, especially in the first half. I thought he looked back to his usual, you know, self, who's just you know, an absolute beast. You know, there's no other way to describe Anguissa either. You know, I mean, he's a beast himself. But obviously, I think a lot of players had great performances in this game, and many deserve credit. But I do think Dilo is a great shout for beast of the match for sure. But had Rui scored that crossbar shot,
might have given it to him.
Okay, then he
given it to Mario Rui.
To make a new
that guy needs to get a goal this season. He needs a goal this season.
There's a hashtag Legna Napoli for Rui this game, right?
Napoli. I think we're up to 18 now.
Are we this season
18.
alone?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
Oh my God, we would have had 18 more.
We're usually top of the Legna table, you know.
Yeah, we're always up there, huh?
Yeah.
Speaking of shots, real quick, I just want to inform everybody. We got a new Twitter handle. I know there's a bunch of people in the chat. I want to get it out there while you're still here. Or if you're on our audio on a Podbean and where podcasts are, we switch things up a little bit. You know, as the show evolves, you know, we're getting smarter. We're getting better. We're receiving so much support, and we love it. But the new Twitter handle, at Napoli Rant. This is going to be the Napoli Rant with Raf and Raf, of course, your host here. So yeah, please share, subscribe, give us a like, give us a comment. The community is growing. It's amazing. I think like last week, 3 new clubs popped up on the Northeast coast. Crazy. And we love every second. And we here in the Raf and Raf Rant would love to support you guys as well. So if there's anything we can do, let us know. But in the meantime, at Napoli Rant on Twitter, please subscribe to our YouTube, the Raf and Raf Rant. We're gonna make a couple tweaks, couple adjustments, some new things that we got planned for the future. It's gonna be awesome. We do it all for love, all for you guys. So please support us back. It'll be a huge, huge, huge help. Thank you.
Let me take this opportunity while you've done that, Ralph, to address a little bit of our audio podcast ventures. Right now, we are still posting our podcast to the Far From Vesuvius network, but we have created we had to change it today, the Napoli Rant with Raf and Raf podcast channel. So right now we're on Podbean, which is how we distribute. I know we are on Google Podcasts and Spotify. Apple is still pending, I believe, but look for that. So you can, if you're listening on Far From Vesuvius right now, you can expect for us to continue to post there, but we're also posting on our own podcast channel, and eventually, probably, I would say before the end of the season to the beginning of the next season, we'll just be on our own podcast channel from there on in. So, yeah, look for us. Just search Raf and Raf Rant, Napoli Rant on your favorite podcast platform, and you'll find us. Like I said, eventually for Apple users, we'll be there. And that's one of the reasons why we're still posting on Far From Vesuvius, because Apple is already established there. And look for some, this audio on that channel. And more stuff, right, Raf? We're gonna
oh man, it's coming along little by little, guys.
Little by little,
it's getting better and better, and with everybody's support, it really gives us the motivation, the encouragement to just keep doing more and more for you guys. So, but thank you again. Back to the show, guys. Fabian, real quick, maybe we'll touch on Insigne right after that, and then
probably Mertens too.
Probably Mertens, or the lack of Mertens, rather. Real quick, Fabian and the golden left foot. I'm calling this piece. I just want to see more of it. We saw it instantaneously against Verona. He took a few, whatever. One was a save, one went a little wide. I don't care. I don't mind. He can miss a shot here and there. I'm fine with it. I want to see more Fabian left foot. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Doesn't he normally score with his right, or is he a lefty?
Isn't it his left foot? Isn't it the left?
I believe it's his left.
He's lefty.
Yeah.
Did he not take a shot with his left but it was inside the box. That's why it was easily handled by the keeper.
It was a great listen. That thing had some pace to it.
It was a great save. I'm kind of joking. It's just the guy can't score in the box for anything. He's an outside the box guy. He
took one with his right too when he cut onto it, and
that's right.
He didn't miss by much top corner, far side, but he's a lefty. And then he also had the one that, like you guys said, got saved. He hit it a little central in the box, but he also had a shot with his left that got blocked. And if it didn't get blocked, I think it would have went in, to be honest.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or at least hit the target.
Or it was on target at least.
Yeah,
at the least.
I had something to say in regards to Fabian. It's first of all, I see a lot of people like online saying that, Fabian played in the 10 in this game. No one played in the 10 in this game. In a 4-3-3, there is no 10. He's a mezzala who gets forward for sure, absolutely, and he can maybe do it more so in the 4-3-3 when you have 2 other guys next to you. But he wasn't playing behind the strikers the way Zielinski does now, and so that's just one thing I wanted to clear up. And then another thing is, like, everyone's calling for him to play in the 10, which is fine. That's an opinion, but we haven't seen it yet. And I think that he's best either in the 2-man mid or in the 3-man as a mezzala. I don't see Fabian really as a 10. I think Zielinski's much better suited to that role if we play with a formation where there is a number 10. Even though obviously Zielinski's past 2 games haven't been his best and he's been slightly out of form, I do think that he's better in that position. But, you know, he can also play Zielinski as a mezzala as well if we decide to just stick with the 4-3-3. I just think a lot of people claiming that Fabian played in the 10 last game, you know, didn't get that one right.
I think that has a lot to do with his Spain under-21 days, because in that Spain under-21 team, they did play 4-2-3-1 with him in the number 10 spot. And I think he won the under-21s in that spot and was player of the tournament.
Right.
That's where the shout for him to come closer to the box comes from by Raf Pizarro when he was criticizing him when we first started this epic rant show. And honestly, I couldn't agree more, man. I think it's been a while since he's played in that role, and keeping the former role while changing to sort of a mezzala in the 4-3-3, like shifting in between those two positions at a 4-3-3 really did suit Fabian well. He could have scored 2 goals, you know, and you know, it'll come. But yeah, I mean, again, if this 4-3-3 is working, just go with it, you know, and I'm not against going back to the 4-2-3-1 with Zielinski coming back in. You know, but this is the beauty, and I'll, you know, I'm gonna confess and admit and concede of not playing in 3 competitions. You know, we have the options of, you know, on the bench. The team is pretty much healthy now, and now we can really change as we go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Like you got the whole week to plan, you know.
Sure. I think the goal from here on out should be to get enough of a bench to be able to compete in more than 2 competitions, or in 2 competitions at least. But for now, I mean, it is a blessing in disguise that we're out. I really wanted that UEFA Cup, but, you know, whatever. You know, what are we going to do? Now we can actually use our team and use the full advantages of our 5 substitutions, of our uninjured players. And this is an example of that, you know, being able to adapt to our opponent.
What do you think?
Yeah, join the dark side, Ralph.
Yeah, hey, hold on, I'll join the dark side right now.
Yo, imagine he just pulls out a Darth Vader helmet. I
have a Darth Vader hat on over there.
Okay,
get Fran in on this too.
Go ahead, Fran. What's your opinion
on Fabian? Where his best spot is, or how he
anything? On
where would you like to see him? You know, were you satisfied with his performance this week, and how, you know, on the formations and how it kind of like changed up, you know, his play?
Oh yeah, I mean, everything that we did this weekend was spot on in my opinion. I think that 2 guys needed to see the bench bad, and they both saw it. Thank God.
Hold that thought.
But yeah, I mean, the 2 players that started allowed Fabian to do his thing closer to goal, which was great to see, because Fabian obviously closer to goal but not too close is lethal, deadly. Yeah, he played fantastic. I don't really see Fabian as a 10 necessarily, because you could play a 4-3-3 with a little bit of a triangle with 2 holders and a guy sitting in front. But I think when we played 4-3-3, it was a bit more flat with Fabian sometimes dropping a little deeper to get the ball from deep and then orchestrate from deep, which is great because we know he's got the brains and the ability to do it. And it also, you know, he's got the ability to get forward towards the edge of the box, where that's where he's at his best in terms of an attacking sense for us. But no, his performance, fantastic. His close dribbling was great. I was telling Vinny during the game, like, Fabian's another guy that moves so interestingly. He moves differently, you know. He's not that quick, but it's so hard to take the ball off of him, even though he's not the fastest player. The way he just protects it so close to him, sometimes so close to the sideline, he doesn't even need a lot of room, and he holds on to it, man. He's got a really, really nice gift.
He's like
it's interesting. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, like it's right. No, like with like beefy legs, right?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm with you there, Fran. I'm glad you mentioned it because there was a point that I was watching Fabio. I'm like, look, I'm curious to know how he's going to respond in a tight spot because
Right.
I wasn't always crazy about the way he defends on the counterattack. I'm still not. I'll give him that criticism, but I was curious to see what can he do in tight spaces, and he was able to hold his own. At the very least, not lose the ball. I mean, if you pass it out and you maintain possession, fine, that's okay. I don't think he's going to start, doing some tricky stuff with his feet getting all Ronaldinho on people. But if he can protect the ball and not lose it, hey, good enough for me. But the fact that more importantly, I don't want to put all our eggs in one basket with Osimhen. That all we're gonna do. And yesterday we saw a little bit of it. They were sending these long balls to him instead of maybe keeping the play on the ground. They were just trying to get it out. We saw a lot of back passes to Osimhen yesterday as well. When putting him in a difficult situation that I just didn't understand why. But when Osimhen can't get the job done, when he's getting mugged by defenders, it's nice to have another option, another weapon that we can use. And I think Fabian Ruiz is that weapon, especially outside the box, especially times when we go against smaller clubs who kind of park the bus and it's just hard to kind of weave your way through. I mean, we can just start sending some shots 30 yards out. I don't know, but I want Napoli to have more than just one weapon in Victor Osimhen. I want him to have many, and I want the kid, even if they don't go in the net. All right, Fabian Ruiz had a few kicks yesterday that didn't go in the net, but the fact that he had them already kind of it puts the defense on their toes. It's because now we can't go too deep and just guard Osimhen. Now we got to watch for Osimhen for Fabian Ruiz, and he was open a lot yesterday, and he was calling for the ball, which is something also I want to see. Like they got to communicate a little bit better, man. I think we saw Elmas that could have gave a little quick through ball to Insigne that didn't happen. A few of the times where Fabian calling for the ball and just not getting it. I mean, a little bit more communication. They don't have to go for the glory and send these balls like 30 feet over the net. Just talk to get cheeky. That's what Spalletti said in the beginning of the season. He wants them to get a little cheeky. So get a little cheeky. We have the weapons to do it.
What do you think about keeping the 4-3-3 and interchanging Fabian and Zielinski in that role?
Yeah,
go ahead. I'll jump in real quick. I want to answer real quick, and then I'll let you guys have it because even Patrick said it. Like I don't think we should just have one formation. I don't get that.
No, I agree. I agree.
To kind of fall back on to switch it depending on our opponents. I've said it in the past, so I'm gonna die on that hill that I'll take Fabian Ruiz as a number 10 when we're lining up maybe like a 4-2-3-1, or do something what Spalletti did this game against Verona with a 4-3-3. So I'm with it, Rafa, but I like to hear from our guests.
Yeah, I think that 4-3-3 is second nature to this team, and we clearly have the players for it, as well as 4-2-3-1, which we've now been playing for quite successfully for 2 seasons now. So I think if we can just be able to interchange seamlessly between these two, and and depending on who's in form, if Zielinski is really in form, maybe we do the 4-2-3-1. If he's a little out of form or we need a little bit more defensive solidity, you do the 4-3-3. I mean, the 4-3-3 is the one way to get Lobotka, Anguissa,
and Anguissa together. Yes,
together.
Yes.
So I think in games like away at Hellas Verona, where they're going to be pressing and it's going to be really physical, maybe go to 4-3-3. And in games maybe where like next week at home against Udinese, maybe that's more of a 4-2-3-1 type of game, or sometimes even within, all you got to do is make one change and you can switch even within the same game. So
sure.
I think we should be able to interchange with both formations, and I'd be happy with that. Yeah.
Fran, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think that being able to interchange with the 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 is definitely a good thing. I mean, we always complained with Gattuso that we didn't seem to have a plan B. We only had one plan with, one way of play, one formation mostly. This season, we've seen a couple. Obviously, the back three against Cagliari didn't work great. I don't think that's in our DNA. Like Gaetano said, I know he's not here. He left early, but we're made to be, play more an aggressive way. We're not made to really sit back and counter. I mean, yeah, we can do that with Osimhen, but we've kind of proven time and time again that consistently it doesn't work for us as well as the press. So I think that, our wingers with the pace that some of them have combined with Osimhen's pace, we should be pressing, but having a couple formations definitely doesn't hurt at all. To have the 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, bounce back and forth, and maybe play with different personnel, tweak the personnel just a bit between the two formations can't do us any harm. So
I'm with all that. Shout out again to everybody in the chat for participating today, man. You guys are always the best here. We had a few people had to kind of step out. I get it. People got work, people got things. But if you are still in here, I highly recommend you stay till the end today because we may or may not have some special footage. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, guys. That's all I'm gonna say.
Stick with the end. We're almost there.
Stick to the end. All right, we'll
climax. The climax.
We'll start. Right. Kind of is at the end.
The climax. I like that.
Yeah,
I'm
sure the climax. All right, but yeah, you're gonna want to stick to the end. I see 11 people in 12 now. Hey,
let's go.
I'm like, oh shit.
If there's 12 in the chat,
you don't want to miss the end of the rock rant. You don't want to miss the end of the
12
rock
likes.
rant.
I want 12 likes. I want 12 shares because
Hell yeah.
It's why we were late, so it's worth the wait. All right, guys. But I want to talk about one more thing because we're getting to that hour mark. Let's go to Chito, man. Where's Chito? Where's Chito? I asked Patrick. He even, he had his opinion on it, but he's not quite sure either. Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. I was listening to Joe Fischetti. I know Dan Bowen, I love the guy, but he kind of went off a little bit on a rant too about certain conspiracies and shit. I don't really buy into it, but sometimes you think though, like what's going on though? Like this is Napoli's all-time goal scorer. He didn't even see a minute in Verona. I mean, he's seen practically nothing over the past few games. Guys, what say you, man? Where's Chito?
Go first, friend.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the take was for the Verona match. Maybe the fact that the game was physical and maybe Spalletti didn't want to take a risk with him being brought on and then getting a late injury, so he figured, screw it, we'll put on the bulldozer instead. But I think that even more question marks are going to come up now that Petagna looks like he pulled up with a little bit of a muscular injury, because now it's like Spalletti's hand is kind of almost forced into subbing on, if he wants to make a striker substitution. It's like, who are you going to sub on now besides Dries? I guess in the middle of the park, you could argue like if Zielinski's going to get benched, you could put Fabian there, so it doesn't have to be Dries. And then when you look out wide, like I guess the argument he doesn't have the legs in him to come on as a winger anymore or to put in 60 minutes as a winger. But yeah, now with Petagna going down, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens. But at the same time, being eliminated from competitions and now making us play once a week, it's like on that note, on that side of the coin, it's like maybe we're not going to see much of him from here on out unless more guys go down. So, but in terms of like the conspiracy theory with the contract, I have no idea. I mean, I don't think it would be that petty.
I hope not. I mean, geez, like
I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that. Not even for a little bit. I can't.
Yeah, I can't either. I don't think they had.
It was one person's take, but still, like.
No, and I respect Patrick's take because it's a educated take. When you really think about it, this is how football is. You got a player who either A is on a bonus in goals or what have you, B out of contract, so or has some sort of a silent agreement, within that's not been reported, or C, just kind of like on the outs. So what's the point in playing? But not for Dries Mertens, man. Like to me, Mertens is above all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And has already decided to take a lesser wage to stay with Napoli. Has publicly and come out and saying that he doesn't want to be anywhere else. He's going to name his son Chito, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? you don't just sit a player that wants that for the club, that wants to stay and give himself the way he like. Listen, the bottom line is, he's going to be 35 and he might not be able to do it the way he used to do it, but he wants to do something and give something. I don't see Cheeto like if this is the end of the run for Cheeto, I don't see him sitting because of a row with the club. I can't imagine that that's what it is.
I hope not.
No, I can't.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on this. First of all, it's like I don't believe that conspiracy theory either. I think that ADL's main priority is us finishing in Champions League, and
Right.
obviously, if we could win the Scudetto, I think that brings an extra 25 million. So to say not to use a tool that could earn you either the Champions League money or the Scudetto money, even if you think that that's all ADL is after, it's a bit counterintuitive anyway. As for whether or not ADL will renew Mertens, I'm not convinced that he will. That's a different discussion. But even if ADL has in his mind that he's not going to renew Mertens, I still don't think he told Spalletti not to play him.
I don't either. I don't think he's that type of person that's going to do that.
Yeah, and I think that ADL, he knows that he bought Cheeto Mertens for 13 million euros and that he's given plenty back for what he paid. So I don't think that even though there's a lot of ADL haters out there, I don't think he's that petty. Really, I don't.
Well, also, Vin, why would he instruct Spalletti to not play Mertens?
You can't,
because let's just say he's got some sort of a vision of where he's going to be next season, and it's not Napoli. He's going for free, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt Napoli any for him to play. Say he plays and gets hurt, that hurts the deal with Cheeto and the next team. It doesn't hurt Napoli to have him sit on the bench. I mean, it doesn't hurt Napoli to have him out on the pitch and possibly get hurt. So you're right. I'm agreeing with you in that ADL has absolutely not instructed Spalletti to bench him. That's in my opinion.
And so I just want to say, like, I the reason I think we haven't been seeing him as much is mostly down to Spalletti. I think that if you look at Spalletti's career, he always played the 4-2-3-1 mostly, and the players that he's played in the number 10 position are like Nangolan, Perotta, midfielders who are even more defensive than Zielinski. And so to me, the whole thing of, people, why isn't he playing Mertens in the 10? It's just like, he was never going to play a guy like Mertens in the 10. And so I think that Spalletti sees him simply as a backup number 9. And I think that, when Osimhen's fit, he's going to be very much preferred. And sometimes in games like Hellas Verona, he'll even go to someone like Petagna over Mertens out as a sub because, he's just physical. And towards the end of the game, you could hoof the ball up to Petagna. Theoretically, he holds on to the ball, etc. Now, who's a better player? I think at 50 years old, Mertens is a better player than Petagna. But I think that it's mostly Spalletti's choice. And I guess while we're doing this well, we have to respect it, even though it does suck. And I really think that Mertens is a huge part of this team, even in the locker room, as someone down here was saying in the comments. And I hope that, for me, whether or not he renews next year, I would love him to just stay a part of this club, and be I would love Mertens as our Zanetti or figure, like between the management and the players. I think he's the perfect guy for that role. But anyways, that's pretty much all my thoughts on Mertens.
I'm pretty sure I heard that Mertens does not wish to hold a management position after his career. I think he wants to be the dad, the husband, the dad, which is respectable, and I understand and completely agree. But that just means he's going to stay in Naples. And
but Rafa, do you think that he meant he doesn't want to be a head coach, or he just doesn't want to at all? Because I interpreted that
ambassador to the club, possibly.
Right?
That's
the Zanetti role, he could totally be a dad, and like it's not like he's got the pressure on him, or like the Neved and Zanetti role. I feel like he could kind of do both, but maybe it's wishful thinking on my part.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
I think it was like 2-3 games ago, Pasquale, he asked which recent match that Cheeto was on the sidelines giving the Sharks some football.
Yeah, the Lazio game.
The Lazio game.
He was telling them what to do for the winning goal.
Natural. It's natural leadership. It really is. And we all know that if he was a couple years younger and still starting, that he'd be the predecessor for the armband, for Insigne's armband.
Absolutely.
I know we're gonna move on. I'm sure you showed this already, Ralph. I didn't catch it, but I just want to read this out loud and everybody hear it in the back. I know one of the medical staff follows me on Twitter, and for the life of me, I can't remember his name. Starts with a Z. If anybody remembers what his name was, Petagna getting hurt is inexcusable. I want a clean house with the physio staff by Gianluca Spinelli, but in my thoughts and my mind as well. Thank you very much for bringing that out, Gianluca, because this is spot on. Inexcusable. Petagna, who barely sees time anymore, should not be pulling up with a freaking muscle injury, man. That inexcusable. Absolutely horrific. And I know it's probably not going to cost us a lot because it's a Petagna and whatever, but this is the truest statement I've seen this entire night. It's absolute BS, and I'm done with that rant.
I'm with you. According to Vito, they're with you. We all know it's probably Carmine back there. Carmine, if Carmine had to do those medical minutes, he would be up to like 6 hours by now.
He needs to be hired. He needs to be hired by the team, Carm.
But please, mean, he'll do it for free, for the love of God, just to keep these guys healthy.
We gotta Amazon Prime him over there.
Word.
Over there overnight.
I got no cool closing music tonight, guys, but I want to give you an opportunity to plug anything or shout anybody out, man. What are you gonna eat tomorrow? Tell me, let us know.
Actually, I think tomorrow we might be going to Mr. Carm's neighborhood. He wants us to go and see his little area of the city. So I think we'll be heading down and talking Napoli like always.
Love it. Fran, I mean, are you gonna, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's Canada right now for you?
Oh, dude, I mean, it broke the scale, man. Broke the
and you still have 6 days left there, don't you?
I got 4. I leave Saturday morning, but I have the rest of the week.
It's not even over. It's just begun, my friend.
It's just begun. We ain't even halfway there, man.
You're gonna see how they party midweek.
Yeah, well, we'll see it on St. Patrick's Day. We're gonna see it.
Hey, I know my birthday is
That's
St.
your
Patrick's
birthday,
Day.
bro.
I know all about
Happy
it.
birthday, Rafa! Come on, everyone.
Yeah.
Birthday.
Prematurely, but I booty.
Like, I'm younger than you. Look at the hair, man. Look at the difference, people. Some people are just blessed. What can you say?
Dude, I tell people I'm gonna be 39, and they're like, "Not with that hair, you're not."
No, man. Share the love, Rafa. Send some over here.
Listen, you could have it, man. You take it. 6 months.
Me and Bizarro need some donations, buddy.
Yeah, man. I need a little ponytail, a little Steven Seagal look on or something, man.
Hell, I'll shave and give you guys some of it. And you can use it,
Fill in some patches, or I got to even out this shit.
I'm a little screwed though because of the faceless NFT by Steve K. Moore. Thank you very much for that, by the way.
Yes.
Check out Ralph Bizarro and myself's Twitter. You can see the faceless that he did for us, which we appreciate. I can't cut my hair anymore, man.
Nope.
I'm screwed.
You're stuck.
I made a pledge to cut it in the spring, and now I have to go back on that because listen, I got a faceless. What am I supposed to do?
Right.
Cut my hair? No way.
Something we say in film and stuff is that the most iconic people are those who you can recognize just from a silhouette. And Rafa qualifies. You're an icon.
Yes.
Like Mickey Mouse, you can see him just the silhouette.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're
right. We're gonna with all these new tweaks that we're doing, we're gonna have to put a clause in the Rafa's new contract, like much hair.
Rafa Rispo, the Mickey Mouse of Napoli Twitter.
Yes, sir.
I like that. Listen, really fast because we have to go, right, Rafa?
Yes.
Verona came out with this banner, the Curva Sud banner, right?
Let's talk about that. Let's touch on that real quick.
Terrible banner. At a time, listen, when people, they did the whole cholera thing. They did the whole.
Bro, they did COVID. Brescia.
They did COVID.
I didn't forget about that shit,
dude. the absolute lack of class. But Verona comes out with a tweet saying we're for peace or whatever.
We for peace.
We for peace. Well, if you for peace, then you'll ban Curva Sud. You'll ban Curva Sud for the rest of the season. You'll confiscate these, and they're not in the stadium, so they can't really do much about that. But you'll close the Curva Sud. You'll find the people who are doing the racist chants all games to all three of our black players, which is ridiculous, disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
Gross.
And you'll just make a statement, man. You'll Verona, because listen, I know better than everybody. It's a section of idiot fans who just make it worse for everybody else. I'm not calling out all of Verona, is it? I'm not calling out the club, but I'm calling on the club to do something about it. I think Verona, what they do to respond, and I'm sure we're giving them a lot of shit, but they're blocking a lot of Napoli accounts on Twitter, and that to me says you just don't care. You say you care, but you don't care. You just don't want to hear it from us because we're the victims here, which we are. Let's just call it spade a spade. It's disgraceful anyway. But at this point in time, when there is actual war going on, and you're going to use the Russian and Ukraine flag as part of this banner, and you're going to sign it Curva Sud, it's disgusting. It needs to be stopped. I don't care if it's in the stadium or not. You need to stop it. And Serie A needs to do something about it. And this is, I think, where the line is drawn. I think this has to be where the line is drawn, because the whole league, for how long now, have been promoting no war, stop war, peace, this and that. You have got to do something about it. I don't care if it was in the stadium or not. It must be done.
Agreed.
Boys, touch on it real quick. I'll close up the show if.
I think sometimes images can speak louder than words, if you know what I'm saying, Bizarro.
I do. We all do.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, thank you to Vincenzo, to Francesco, for coming out with us tonight, man. It was certainly a pleasure. As always, Francesco, enjoy the rest of your time up in Canada. Thank you to Patrick Kendrick earlier today for coming on, sharing his thoughts right before he had to go call the Lazio game, which I thought was awesome. Shout out on YouTube. Chat. Yeah, check it out on YouTube, please. It is there. We have the link on our Twitter, the new handle at Napoli Rant.
The audio is going up right after this broadcast is over. We'll put the audio up.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having us. Great time.
Always a pleasure. We're certainly going to do it again soon.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Again, shout out to the chat. We had 12 people in there waiting patiently. We got a couple more. Oh, we are up to 15 now. So guys,
oh boy,
let me just send out regarding, because it I saw that banner. You saw the name of the show today. It was FORZA the Coordinates. Guys, they talk about Neapolitans being sensitive, but what other fan base has to go through shit like this? All right, it started in Brescia with COVID. Nobody caught abuse, but the Neapolitans did. Brescia in Lombardy, ground zero of COVID in Italy. Okay. And now we got banners in Verona. Listen, there's some banter and there's some things this is war, man. People are literally being killed. You're sitting in a fucking stadium watching soccer. Look how lucky you are. How dare you say some things like this?
Yeah.
And
sorry, I was gonna chime in and go back to what you said, Bizarro. I'm cool with banter for sure. I'm cool with shit talk. I like that. I think it's part of the game. It makes the game interesting. I love the drama off the field in the sport. I think it's cool. It makes the games more intense and stuff. But it's different when innocent people are being killed for realistically no reason. At the end of the day, it's about money, greed, power. That's just unnecessary, right? And people are, going to bed fearful for their lives. People are hiding. People are leaving. They don't know where they're going to end up. They don't know when they're going to be able to go back to their country. People just want to be able to live their lives, go to work every day, provide for a family, and, go back to their families. So, it's definitely disgusting when you think of it like that, that people are, innocent people are fearing for their lives every day, every night, going to bed, hearing noises that, that terrify them now and stuff, and they don't know where they'll be come next morning. That's just not, it's just not cool, man.
Just not cool.
It's just not cool.
And I'm glad you said your final thought, From, because we need to set an example, and I think you did, because the message really is to make love, not war. Good night, guys. Ciao, belly. Have a good night, guys. Forza Napoli sempre. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Bacio, Fra. Bacio.
Forza.
Baci.